It's time for match number 20, the final game of the league phase of LPL 2020. And in action are the Dambulla Vikings and the Colombo Kings. Let's build our fantasy team then on my 11 Circle Fantasy Pick on ESPNcricinfo. I'm Ranu Kapoor. Joining me shortly, Russel Arnold. Right, both teams safely secured to the semi-finals, Russ. Our pro tip for this one suggests that in the last 8 completed games, teams chasing have won 7 times. So pick extra players from the chasing team. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's what the stats suggest, right? But you still have to cover your bases to cover any eventuality and go with players who might perform under most circumstances. That's how a team is also picked. And that's how I think it will help us gain most number of points too. But it is a line of thinking, but I'm not sure whether that's the way you should go.
Yeah, I know Russell's line of thinking. It is pick form players. Isn't that your way? Forget these stats. Form players the way to go, right, Russ?
Trust. And you also have a couple of spots in your team where you go with the gut. Out of the box players. They surprise you and they give you points. And if we look at what we picked, Rona, that's kind of what's actually worked for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's go to our team for this one. Maybe you'll get an example again if you haven't been following our videos through the course of LPL 2020. Well, what have you been doing? But we'll help you out here with this one. Let's go to our availability first up. Some info for you. Oshada Fernando of the Dambulla Viking is doubtful for this clash. Keep an eye out on team news. This is a game where teams may consider just chopping and changing a little bit before the semi-finals. Now, moving to the team itself. Before that, quick reminder on the My 11 Circle Fantasy app, 100 credits for every user to build their fantasy team. 4 categories of players to choose from: batsmen, bowlers, wicket keepers, and all-rounders. You can pick a maximum of 7 players from one team in any given contest. Every player's individual credit value is listed on the app. There are also 4 substitute options that you can pick, which will help you with towards the end of this video. Let's move to our team. Our captain choice is Dinesh Chandimal. He features quite regularly whenever his side are in action, and he is among the leading run scorers of the tournament. Over 200 runs in his first 5 innings. He has an excellent batting average too, over 70, and has effected 6 dismissals as a keeper batsman. So keep an eye out for those extra points that Chandimal will give you. Niroshan Dickwella is there as well, another keeper option that features as our vice captain in this one. Fantastic batting form of late. He scored over 120 runs in his last 3 games, and that was after a string of low scores. So he's found his touch, and he's getting you lots of points. So Dinesh Chandimal as captain and Niroshan Dickwella as vice captain. They give you double and 1.5 times the points respectively. So pick them very carefully. We've gone for the 2 wicket keepers. In our top picks, it's a pretty straightforward selection. They've been featuring regularly throughout the tournament. Andre Russell is there. We know what he can do when he tees off. We still remember that 19 ball 65 not out. He's not been able to replicate that since, but he is managing the odd wickets, so getting you points with bat and ball. We don't want to miss out on points if Russell does go big and he chooses this game to do it. Dasun Chanaka is there as well. Excellent in those middle overs, hard-hitting batsman, and so consistent this season, striking at over 160, and again among the leading run scorers as well. 245 runs in 7 innings, 14 sixes as well as 3 wickets, so points galore from Dasun Chanaka. Qais Ahmed is there, the leg spinner. He's been a revelation in this tournament. Again, among the top few wicket takers, 8 wickets in 6 games. He's bowled the most economical spell of the tournament as well, 2 for 8 of his 4 overs, and has a 3 wicket haul to his name. Rounding that up, Dinesh Chandimal captain choice, Niroshan Dickwella vice captain, Andre Russell, Dasun Chanaka, Qais Ahmed. How do you like those top picks, Russ?
Yeah, Dinesh Chandimal is the captain and he's consistent. Now, you mentioned Andre Russell hasn't replicated what he did earlier. But Ronak, because of the likes of Dinesh Chandimal doing well at the top, Andre Russell's not going to get that opportunity. That's where it's always useful to have a top order player in your picks so that you maximize, because they get the most opportunity and they will get it all the time. A note on Niroshan Dickwella, yes, he's found his form and you should back him. But I did see him being uncomfortable with a groin injury, so he might not play this game just in case, rest him for the semi-final. I have a feeling the Dambulla Viking will go that way. Angelo Pereira, Ramesh Mendis, they've all been great, so they could move up, and it's no harm in even picking them as your vice captain. So these are just names for you to consider. But Andre Russell, Dasun Chanaka, you do have them in there because they're performing more and more and with bat and ball, and that's useful.
All right, brilliant. That's exactly what we're looking for from Russ. He's got a clear view of exactly what's going on in the LPL 2020. So if Dickwella is injured, he's given you that note to remember and someone else to potentially replace him as vice captain. Let's run through our team. We do see Ramesh Mendes in there. He's going to feature on our differential picks. So too is Angelo Pereira. So a couple of Dambulla Vikings players that feature in the differential picks. Now, Angelo Pereira came into the tournament after a first class 100. Didn't get an opportunity initially, but since he did, he's grabbed it with both hands. 148 runs in 5 games, an average of 37, strike rate of over 140. Ramesh Mendes, the 25-year-old off spinners there as well. He's bowled well in LPL 2020, keeping the very experienced Malinda Pushpakumara out of the side. In the 5 games he has bowled, he's picked up 5 wickets at a decent economy rate of just under 7. So handy with the bat, so he can get you points in both departments. Angelo Pereira and Ramesh Mendes among our differential picks. Looking at our full team, now we do have Dickwella. Russell's pointed out, keep an eye out for whether he plays after what looked like some trouble with his groin. Dinesh Chandimal as well, our captain choice. Daniel Bell Drummond, Angelo Pereira, Andre Russell, Asan Priyanjan, Isuru Udana, Dasun Shanaka, Samiullah Shinwari, Ramesh Mendes and Kais Ahmed. Substitute options again. Dushmantha Chamira features in the substitutes. Let's get him into the team, surely. Laurie Evans, Paul Sterling, Upul Taranga feature. Our alternate scenario says Taranga could replace Asan Priyanjan given he is a top order batsman. Now, Russell, what do you make of that team? What are the changes you'd like to see?
Form team, all right. This is where when I look at this, that's the stats suggest that, but you have to go, like I always say, are there anyone you can bring in going by your gut? Well, what really surprises me is the players that have missed out. Angelo Matthews, Samit Patel have quietly slipped out. They were our favorites earlier in the tournament. Yes, I would look to get Dushmantha Chamira in there. Let's say Niroshan Dickwella is injured. Dushmantha Chamira is an option. And another man who was rested in the game before, Anwar Ali. He's very useful, and I would have him around as a surprise package.
Yeah, we featured Anwar Ali before as well. Good point made by Russ, right? So make your team according to what you've heard and go with your gut. That's always something that we try to propagate here on My 11 Circle Fantasy Pick on ESPNcricinfo. Thank you very much to Russel Arnold. We'll be back before the semi-finals of LPL 2020. Again, check out final teams and only then confirm your fantasy team, and we'll see you before the semis.